Okay. Welcome everyone to the RAC Club. Sorry, I started it like 5 minutes ago, but we're going to Robin Fawcett won the challenge. Well done, Robin. She knows. And so we're going to turn the time over to Rochelle, who is going to be talking about doing it in your own style. Over to you, Rochelle. You can share the screen if you want to. I've taken it off.
Thanks. Okay, yeah. So very aptly for me, Nathan emailed me this morning to say that I'm doing the training. Did I remember? No, I did not remember. And so therefore, very much in my style, I'm totally winging this. So
you're not supposed to admit stuff like that.
Well, it's totally the truth, and it's totally how I roll. So here we go. Doing it in your style, Rochelle style. Okay, here we go. Okay, so finding your style. So I find this a really interesting topic, actually, because there's a lot of talk that goes around when we first start doTERRA about things being duplicable. So the question I have is, should you be duplicable or should you not be duplicable? Should you try and duplicate yourself down the business or not? And I think there are two answers to this question. Josh, can you get me some water?
Yeah.
Thanks. I think there are two answers to this question. And actually, I'm going to be speaking in a minute. Mary's going to come on and help me in a little bit, because this is a really good example of how this is applicable in this business. So what is really important to duplicate and to not really have your own style around, more or less, is the strategy of the business. And this is something that I learned very early on, which I think really helped me rank quicker, is that I knew it was very, very important to listen to everything Nathan told me about strategy. It was really, really important to learn how to do it, to learn how to do placements, to figure out if someone's a builder or not a builder, know where to put them, and just really, really understand how to organize your business properly, to learn about compensation, to learn about how you move up the ranks if that's something you want to do, which I see most people do. You can get into this business and enroll people left, right, and center, but if you don't know how to structure your business properly, you won't rank. And that's something that I took very seriously early on, and that I am quite passionate about my team learning. It's actually how I spend most of my time now as a leader in this business, is teaching my team how to do the strategy. It's teaching them how to teach a class, right? So all the basic things, learning how to sample, how to, the content of a class, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. All of the very basic things, the things that the class kind of stuff that I learned from Emily, the strategy stuff that I learned more from Nathan. So together, like, I pulled it all together and I knew the basics, and then I went off and very much applied my own style to the things like the class and the way that I spoke to people. But the strategy stuff I kept as it is, because there isn't really a different way to do that. There might be little differences that you can apply here or there depending on circumstance, but strategy, you really need to know your stuff. So and some people find that hard to want to sit down and learn that, or it's not where their head is right there and then, because they see a different kind of picture. They see that they want to go on and just talk about the oars, and they're very, very passionate about them, and that's amazing too. And that's, I think, when Mary comes on, she'll agree where she was. We found it difficult to work together on a strategy level initially, because Mary has very much her own incredible style, which so many of you would have picked up on from the group. And she ran with that, and now with time we have learned to work together also on strategy. So I think it's really important here, when we think about whether we are duplicable or not, that yes, we should be duplicable on the basics and on strategy. We absolutely need to know that, and it's really, really important. And the stuff that you're learning from what we've brought back from Elise in Prague, around the kind of basic things that you need to do to get started, and to understand placements, understand compensation. It's really, really important that we learn how to teach that to the people that we bring on so they can teach their people, and we lead them in that way. However, our style when we're bringing people into this business, I don't think we should try and be the same as each other. Because if we do that, then we're not genuine, and people pick up on that, and we won't be successful. And I think that's a really, really important thing to remember. We can't be one another, and we shouldn't try and be one another, because it just won't work and we won't be successful. So let's move on. Okay, so this is a really interesting test that you can do. I don't know, some of you may know it. It's called Myers-Briggs. And a really, really important part of knowing how you're going to do this business is knowing yourself, right? This is a really, really, really important part of it. And doing the Myers-Briggs personality test is one way that you can get a better understanding of yourself. So you can apply that initially to how you might approach people, how you might sit down and structure your plans of how you're going to do the business, how you will lead people. Because when you start this journey, it's very much about yourself, finding people, learning how to place, learning the compensation plan. But I found in the last year, since I've been doing this business, and I'm now at platinum and going beyond, that I'm very much now spending most of my time leading my team. I do classes, but I do it with them. I don't really do my own classes. I don't do loads of my own enrollments. I'm out all the time with my team, guiding them, mentoring them with those basics that I just spoke about. How to do a class, how to sample, how to structure a place when they've got them. That's most of my time is spent doing that now. So I have to also now not only understand how I do business for myself, but understand how I can lead and guide people. And for me, knowing myself and taking and accepting that, and I'm going to talk more about that in a minute, but also growing from that place of acknowledging who I am, is a really, really important part of this journey. So you can do this test online. It's called the Myers-Briggs personality test. And it's not something where it's definitive and you are that person. So you absolutely, can't go in any other direction because that's who you are. It's about growth, and it's about learning how to work with others, as I said. So there are different parts, and I'm not going to go into great detail about this, because actually what I would love you to all do is go ahead and do the test and see what kind of personality you are. I realized that actually I need to myself perhaps redo this test as I was learning, revising on it again, because I don't know where that noise is coming from. I don't know if you can mute it, Nathan. I did this test for the first time when I was 22 years old. Oh my goodness, that was 13 years ago. That's awful. Actually, nearly 14. So it's interesting. You're born with certain personality traits, but actually what you can learn to do, and what many people do learn to do, is suppress them. So they might change, or they might, the way that they express themselves within this test might change over time. So you may be an introvert, or you may be an extrovert, and that's the first one. And this isn't what you may think. It's not necessarily about confidence and how you get on in social situations. This is about where your energy comes from. Is your focus on the inside world? Is your focus on the outside world? Where does your energy come from? My energy absolutely comes from the outside world. I feed off other people's energy. Interestingly for me, I absolutely do not like being in social situations where I have to talk to loads of people in small conversations. I can't stand it. I want to hide. Now, that may not be what you imagine as an extrovert, right? You might think it's the life of the party and they want all the attention. That is not me. I really, really don't like it. I hide away from parties, which is why I didn't want to go to the gala in Amsterdam. It's just not for me. I'd much rather one-to-one conversations, in-depth conversations. But you put me on a stage in front of people to talk about essential oils, I thrive. I love that. And my energy very much comes from the outside world in that way. My husband, the exact opposite. His energy comes from inside of him, and he needs a lot of time to be by himself, to process his thoughts and feelings. So we're all but he's very confident. He's not shy. Many people in the past have thought he's a shy person because he's not out there, like, you know, feeding off other people's energy, but he's not. So it's a really interesting thing to know that of yourself. So you know kind of what situation, right, that you're going to do better in terms of teaching. You may be better one-to-one. You may be better, you know, like I am standing on a stage. I'm so much better at teaching classes on a stage in front of 30 or 40 people than I am actually in an intimate setting where everyone's all talking over each other. Like, I'm much, much better in those situations. Okay, so you may be an introvert, you may be an extrovert, you may be someone that senses or has intuition, and there's a whole load of questions that you can ask yourself. So someone who's more sensing, these statements might apply to them. I remember events as snapshots of what actually happened. I solve problems by working through facts until I understand the problem. I'm pragmatic and I look at the bottom line. I start with facts and then form the bigger picture. So these people, they use their five senses very much. The opposite is the people that are intuitive. They look at patterns and possibilities. So they may be remembering events by what they read between the lines about their meaning. They solve problems by leaping between different ideas and possibilities. They're interested in doing things new or different. They're happy to step outside of their comfort zone. So that's another part of this test. You may be thinking or feeling, and I like this one. The way it stuck with me was if you saw an animal that had been knocked over and had been killed on the road, or was hurt, not killed, hurt on the road. A thinking person would use their logic to say that the best thing to do here is to get the animal out of its misery, right? That's what a thinking person would do. They would use their logic there. I am not that person. I am the person that would pick the animal up, put it in the car, want to nurture it back to health. And that's not logical, but I very much use, the way I operate is through feeling. And that comes through a lot, I've noticed, with how I work with my team. So I'm very much, there with them, wanting to, make them happy and successful as well, sometimes to the detriment of my own health. Like, I don't put myself first. I don't Elise would not agree with the way I run my business. I'm like, try and be there for everyone all the time. But also, in turn, I hope, I can actually see Lucinda. Hi, Lucinda. I hope that my team feel my love for them and that they feel that we are growing this together. It's not me. I don't feel like because I'm at Platinum and I'm, getting close to Diamond, that I have authority over them to tell them what to do and how to do their business. I am very much we're in this together. I'm just slightly ahead of the game than them. And I love them and I want them to grow. And that is very much my leadership style, which is why I haven't been out there getting enrollments recently, because I've been there with them and I want them to establish themselves. But then sometimes maybe I should put my business head on a little bit more and be a bit more thinking. So, but it is interesting to think about that in terms of how you operate, especially as you become into the more leadership part of doTERRA. So the final one is whether you are judging or perceiving. So a judging person, now this is the one that came out interesting to me, is task orientated. They make lists, they work before they play. A perceiving person is more open and responsive. They appear looser, more casual. I love a list. I absolutely love a list. I love being organized. I have not been able to be that way with doTERRA, because for me it has just all happened so fast. I've absolutely had to roll with the punches, if that's the right term. Josh, is that the right term? I always like use these like phrases that are English phrases and get them totally wrong, and he always corrects me. So I've had to just go with it because it's gone really, really fast. And I found that really stressful, because I would love to be more organized. I would love to have more structure in place for everyone I can pass down. So it's interesting to know, when you do this test, what is your preference according to the test, and what areas of your life are you not able to apply it that are causing you stress, because they're the areas that you can address and bring more balance back into your life, and accept and acknowledge your style and use it to grow and to adapt things so that you are feeling more centered and balanced within your work, which is something that I am working on at the moment. I don't have a great deal of balance in terms of feeling, in control of doTERRA, because it's gone very fast for me. So I need to step back, and my team know that, and I'm working on that with them myself, that I need to step back and allow us all to grow through me having a little bit more control and less chaos. So that's just an interesting test that you can do. Mary's just going to talk briefly about situational leadership now.
Yes, I'm here. I've changed my style today. We're going surfboarding on Sunday in the twilight, so I don't want to lose my glasses in the lake, so I've put my contact lenses in, and I can't freaking see anything. I'm like, everything's really blurry because I can't afford to get new glasses yet. Anyway, blah blah blah. So I think I'm in the dark now there as well. Maybe that's a good place for me to be. Maybe that's how I'm feeling. Sorry, I've not had much sleep. Where am I? What day is it? So hi, Mary Taylor here. So it's really interesting, Rochelle talking about Myers-Briggs, because if you go and do the test, you come out with a little mnemonic like an ENTJ or an IFP, and actually reading that through, I mean, gosh, probably the same as Rochelle. I probably last did that test properly maybe 20 years ago, and I've definitely changed. And I think that's the one thing as well to remember, is that we're constantly changing and evolving. But another model which I really love to use, and one I feel very passionate about, and I've actually written a little workshop around this model, the women's cycle and essential oils as well. So this is something I'm trialing and rolling with it, is this situational self-leadership, because what it recognizes and where it is about, it's a really great self-development tool, because for every new task that you take on board, you go back to sort of stage one and become very much, you have very different needs. So fundamentally what it's doing is about assessing your developmental needs on where you are on a specific task. And dependent on that, you'll either need high direction or high support. And this is where it then becomes really interesting when somebody like myself and Rochelle are working together, because, you know, I'm very open to sharing, and it's absolutely true what Rochelle was saying. For me, the strategies only become important once my branch of the tree's grown to such an extent that I'm like, oh, everybody's in the wrong place now, and now we're not building in the right rows, and we've got all this wasted volume, which when I started meant absolutely nothing to me, and was of zero importance to me as well, because I just wanted to share the oils. So I didn't need from Rochelle very much high support. I was self-motivated, I had a big network, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. But what I came to realise, particularly at the end of May, was I did need high direction. And Rochelle and I had a conversation, because Rochelle said to me, because I was devastated, I'd misplaced quite a number of people, which meant I hadn't structured things. I still achieved a rank, but I could have set myself up for success better. And we actually had a conversation around the fact that I then gave Rochelle permission to be more directive with me, because I am outwardly a very confident person, but interestingly, exactly the same as Rochelle, Put me in a business meeting, I'll talk forever. Put me on a stage with 1,000 people, I can talk. Put me in a party, I won't be at gala night either. That is my idea. I'm very sorry, of hell on earth. Don't make me be sociable. Don't make me be social in a large environment. Great if there's 4 of us sat down for dinner. So again, I think it's that interesting thing as we're learning to share the oils, as we're learning to reach out to people outside of our own natural sphere. Because probably when we start out, we're normally connecting with people that are on the same kind of wavelength as us. But then as we want to start growing, we need to start pushing out. And also recognizing, so I'm a big picture person. I mean, my poor VA's just been round and I think she's gone away with a headache because I haven't written a list, I haven't clarified anything, and she's got to try and pick that out. So I need to go out of my style, which is big picture, rah, 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 let's make it look pretty, bows and ribbons, Nathan, and go, yeah, okay, what's the detail, what's the specifics? And the interesting thing about this model is as you build your confidence in something, you need less support and less direction. And it's just a natural transition that we all go through. And most of us probably when we start come in as what we call an enthusiastic beginner, which is this bottom red square. So we're really excited. We love the oils. We're sharing them with people. It's all very, very exciting. We maybe sign up a first builder or someone wants to share. But we forget that we don't actually know the protocols. What's the strategy? How do we need to do things? We're just so excited. So we don't need lots of enthusiastic cheerleading. We do actually need to recognize that actually Rochelle isn't trying to rein me in. She isn't trying to stop me doing my thing. She's just trying to make sure I'm set up for success. The next level, and again, some of us may find us here, is what we call the disillusioned learner. So maybe you've been sharing the oils for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Everybody's an individual. No one's buying. No one wants to get on board. You've had some negative feedback from an aromatherapist. Sorry, any aromatherapists that are on the call. You know, maybe someone else has told you that oils are rubbish and I'm just going to go and buy my £2 Asda hay fever tablets, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so your motivation and your enthusiasm drops. And this is where a lot of us can get stuck, and this is where a lot of us can give up. So the situational self-leadership, and it's not Rochelle's responsibility, it's my responsibility to put my hand up and say, I'm stuck, I need help, I need a little hug, I need some clear direction, how can I go on and do that? And then working together, because this isn't about Rochelle pushing me, it's about me pulling and bringing Rochelle with me so that I can get where I need to go. I then move into being competent. So I know how to do the parties, I know how to place people, so on and so forth. But maybe now I'm at the next rank and I'm going up. So I might be really confident doing some things, but have slipped back or starting again. So we're constantly going through these stages. And then we come down to this green square, which is what we call the high achiever or the self-reliant. And this is basically, I think, within doTERRA, where they kind of say, once you're a diamond, you can go and do whatever you want, you know, you're there, it's okay, you're off, you know, you now can be left alone to go and do your own. That's my interpretation, obviously looking from up here. And you know, everybody is just one person. But once we get there, then it's just about maybe having a business network and sharing ideas, which I'm sure is very much what the experience in Prague was all about. You know, this was about competent, confident people with teams who are well established, but hey, hang on a minute, we still need to have a forum to bounce ideas around and think about new strategies. The thing to remember, guys, is we all starting in different places. And every time we rank promote, and I think certainly for me, it was that understanding of once you come to silver, it is then about more about leadership, less about the product, because hopefully we've got the products. And that then can bring new challenges because, you know, whilst no one's employed by me and I'm not employed by Rochelle, there is a different dynamic in that that relationship. So I think for me, as well as doing your Myers-Briggs, it could be quite interesting to just evaluate where you are on all the different sort of doTERRA tasks. So where are you on hosting events? Where are you on sampling? Where are you on closing? Where are you on placing? Where are you on leading, if you're at that stage now where you've got a couple of builders? Because maybe actually what you need is some leadership training. You don't need, but how do I manage a team of people? And we need to be careful about that word, but how do I look after or support people that are working with me? Okay, I need to go and find something over there. So I've kind of whirlwinded through that. Did that make sense, Lucinda? You're the only person I can see. Did that make?
You can't see me. I'm nodding away at you, Mary.
I can see Rochelle and I can see you're nodding. But I think a bit like Myers-Briggs is like, well, kind of like, who am I at the moment? And then situational leadership is, where am I at the moment? And sometimes we need to recognize, so I'm a big picture, non-detail kind of person, but actually if I want my doTERRA business to be successful, I need to step out of my comfort zone and ask for help and direction on strategizing and clarifying. And then once we've got all of that understanding, then we can really move forward, really confidently and confident, being our own unique individual selves. And I think that's so important, is that we really stay true to who we are and who our niche group is.
Exactly. And also, if we know who we are, then as the people that are guiding, that are mentoring, it makes it much easier for us, because those people can come to us and say, I need this, and they know themselves so well. And as leaders, in the loose term, in the doTERRA term, we can then use that knowledge and the knowledge that we have of ourselves and how we do the business and how we lead, as well as that knowledge of that person, to be able to support them properly. We Gatsby, we absolutely have to be able to adapt. No, oh no, oh god, the cats love to kill. It's horrible. Gatsby's much nicer in that respect. So yeah, we absolutely have to know how we can support people the way they need supporting as well. And I really like that languages of love quiz as well, as we're coming onto it, so we know how to support people. So you can go and do the languages of love quiz as well and find out how you best like to receive love, and then tell your mentor, tell your leader, tell your upline, because then they can love you and give you guidance in the way that you need it, as well as being in their own style.
Yeah. So can I just, and also if you just go back to that, Rochelle, what's really interesting is we can use our essential oils at the different stages. So if we need support with communication, we can get our lavender out. If we've got stuck energy, we can be using lemon or peppermint. If we feel that we need grounding when we're super enthusiastic, we can get our balance out. So actually, there's a really nice link into all of these areas with your essential oils as well. Shut up.
That's really nice. No, that's really nice. Thank you. Okay, so just a quick bit on this. You need to know your why. It's really important, because it will help you know how you want to grow your business, what your style is. My why was very much, of course, initially about my family, and as it is for most people, it's about establishing yourself, often financially. Now, also for many of us, I hope, it's also about the passion of the oils, and that is 100% like a big part of the why. This will change over time. So as you grow within doTERRA, your why will become bigger. And I think a lot of people relate to this as they grow. My why, as I said, has very much become about my team now. My success is obviously based on my team's success, but that I don't need them all to be at particular levels in order for me to be successful. But I want them all to be, and it really drives me now. So it makes it makes a big difference in how I lead people, because it's a big part of why I do it. And I believe that as you grow and grow more with doTERRA, money is not an object anymore, right? It becomes almost like insignificant because it's so huge. Your why becomes much, much bigger even than that. It becomes about doTERRA as a whole, and it becomes about, the good that you can do in the world. So that will very much affect your style. and Mary's just going to touch briefly now on vision boards, because it will help you figure out your why. Oh, she's gone. Okay, are you gone? Oh, there's your vision board. Okay, can't hear you though.
That's because I muted myself again, because I have a dog that barks if anyone walks past our house. So I think one of the things I did is I spent about my first 6 months just sharing and getting to know and love the oils, because I knew that I had something coming up in May of this year where obviously we were in Amsterdam and I had 2 big activities. So I really wanted to be in a position to launch my doTERRA business, so to speak, in that May. So at the beginning of the month, the end of April, May, I went on a little vision boarding workshop. And I don't know if anyone's ever done that before, but the simplest way I ever do it is just to set an intent, so for me, my intent was to have an abundant and balanced life that served me and others well. And I knew everything for me was about being plant-based. So when I went on the workshop, I created this vision board, which you may or may not be able to see some of the detail, but fundamentally, as you can see, it's incredibly green. There's pictures of me in pictures of calm and balance. There's all different plants, vegetables. Oh, look, there's something that looks like an essential oil bottle in there, and so on and so forth. And fundamentally, and it links in really nicely about this duplicable, is I kept coming up with the phrase essentially me. Now, I know for some of us that might be like, well, that's not very revolutionary, but actually my whole purpose of my vision board was about essentially me. It was being about essentially true to me. And my other business is called Fab, and so I'm Fab, so it then became about being fabulously essentially me, which then actually spells femme, and I'm all about women's health. So it all kind of came together, and that came through just creating the vision board. And I think it's a really nice thing if you're feeling a bit stuck or you're not sure what your why is to have vision boards, particularly if you're a visual person or if you like words, as Rochelle's shown on these pictures, is to have your intent. So, what is the intent for your business? Maybe it's for your life. You could have different vision boards for different aspects, and then create images which then allow you to sort of put it out in the universe, or for you to focus on a daily way, so that when you're stuck or when you're looking. So I have this, this sits right next to my TV. So when I'm ever in my lounge, I can see this. I have a vision board in my office, which basically has lots of words on it. But interestingly, right in the middle of it was an image of the Jason Vale Juice Master Retreats. And I actually managed to get a job with them. And that was really, then I turned around and thought, my God, that's been sat on my vision board for 2 years. And here I am now working with them. So it's just a really lovely visual way of putting your thoughts, your ideas, and manifesting them, so that it's always there as an intent. And as I say, when I get stuck or I get frustrated, I'll keep repeating essentially me, or abundant life or balanced life. And I'll look at these images and they'll remind me that really my whole why, my purpose is about creating this balance. It's about working with nature. It's about working with plants, and so on and so forth. So
that really comes out in your style, and I think that's really important, isn't it? And your style will show on your vision board. Everyone's will look different. I did a vision board when I was training to be a moon mother. Ask me about that another time if anyone's interested what that is. And it was really amazing to see the different style that came out, and also if you do it in the different phases, Nathan will love this. If you do different phases of your cycle, your vision board will look different depending on the energy that you're in within your cycle as well. And understanding that is really important too. Your energy is going to be different, your style is going to be different as a woman in the different phases of life, your cycle. It's all about adapting.
And again, we've used vision boarding and essential oils together. So when we've done day retreats, or almost make your own make and take class, where you get people together and they can, you could have the oils diffusing for creativity. They could, you know, make a little vision board with their intent, and then they could choose an oil to go with to help them move forward with their intent. They could take a little rollerball or a sample home. So there's lots of ways that even these tools, as I say, that support us can be used then as tools if they fit your style and your niche and your group to get people interacting with the oils. Because for me, it's all about getting the oils out there.
Yeah.
And letting people use them.
So that's a great thing that we can do. So we can do the Myers-Briggs test this week. We can look at the other thing that Mary spoke about. What was it called again? Self-management.
It's called, it's by Ken Blanchard. It's by the Blanchard Company, and it's called Situational Self-Leadership.
Yeah, that's it.
If anyone, you know, we could, there's more you could share on it, but fundamentally, it's just recognizing where am I, what do I need, and it's in a nutshell. In a nutshell.
Yeah, exactly. So we can do our vision boards. That will help us define our style. And my husband's just going to say something briefly because he heard something very interesting the other day, which I think is very true. So here he comes.
Hi there, just sliding in. Yes, I heard this quote just recently. It said, in order to attract, oh, it's there.
I wrote it.
Oh, thank you. In order to attract, you must also repel. This kind of struck a chord. Somebody might have heard it already. It might have been even in the context of doTERRA, but especially in relation to building and finding builders, it's just really important to, I think, be yourself. And by having the confidence to be yourself, you're going to attract people who are actually like you, who you really are, like who you truly are. And if you attract people like that, you're going to have a better, much longer working relationship. It's going to be much easier to work with, going to be much more productive, as opposed to just being like a generic kind of type of person or trying to be someone that perhaps isn't really you. Maybe a good example of that is someone like Elise Chedevy, who is obviously extremely successful, but perhaps quite a sharp person from the kind of feedback I've got from Rochelle. Knows, not afraid to speak her mind. Extremely successful, could work amazingly well with some people, but maybe some people, they'd just be repelled by her and her style. So she wouldn't want to work with them. They wouldn't have a good, productive relationship. So I think it's quite easy to be kind of afraid of let it knock your confidence if you lose someone, or if you maybe approach someone and then they reject the idea. But as long as you're being yourself, I think it's okay for those people to reject it, because it wouldn't have been a good relationship anyway. You are, though, by being yourself, going to find people who are like you and who you're going to have a worthwhile relationship with. So I think it's a really important quote to bear in mind personally when you're thinking of being yourself, find your own style.
And do you think that you repelled many women in the past and then you attracted me? And now we're working together so wonderfully.
I've repelled my fair share.
Yeah, you've repelled your fair share. Exactly. There we go. Okay, so I think that was really good. And Josh comes in with these snippets for me from time to time when I'm having periods of low confidence and self-esteem and feeling like I can do this. You know, it's like you need someone to remind you, be yourself, and people will come to you. And that has certainly been my experience so far. And yeah, some people have been repelled by me, but that's okay too. Hopefully not too many. But Mary?
I was just going to add as well, I think sometimes as well, it's good to have people that are different to you in your team or group as well. Because I know some of the guys in my team, they're much more detailed focused than me. They ask more questions than me. And that makes me have to go and ask the questions and find out. So I'm always really grateful for them, frustrating as it may feel to me, that they're actually asking the questions that I forget to ask whilst I'm all busy doing.
Difference is really important.
Yeah.
The point there is like just being yourself, and you will attract the right people. Even if they're different to you, you will attract the right people. And I think, and you certainly will also repel some people, and that's cool too. Like,
oh no, definitely. I just think let's not be afraid if someone's different.
Yeah, me and Josh couldn't be more different if we tried. Okay, so this is the last thing, and I'm sorry if it's gone on a bit, but yeah, I just want you to all realise that it's really important to accept who you are and not try and be someone else. So yes, you know, you might see some of us that are out there and like doing all these things and like that you would never want to do or feel comfortable doing, and I might feel the same looking at what other people do. But if you can accept who you are and really, just love that about yourself and take it and like figure it out who you are. Use all these tools to figure out who you are, accept it, but not accept it to the point where you're going to be stagnant. That's really important. Grow from it too. Realize your strengths, realize your weaknesses, and grow from them. And in turn, you will grow your own business, but you will hopefully inspire other people within your team, and they will grow too. And that's certainly, the place that I hope that I'm at now. I'm very, very passionate about inspiring my team and helping them grow and have the amazing experience from doTERRA that I'm having. So find your style, love it, accept it, grow from it, and together we are stronger. Okay. I don't know if Nathan's still here or he's gone to sleep.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you, Rochelle. Thank you, Josh. And thank you, Mari. Really, really great presentation. Thank you very much. So today's, if you could just unshare your screen, Rochelle, if that's okay.
I have, actually, I think. Has it not worked? Oh, okay. No, it's not worked. Okay.
Thank you. So, so today's challenge is, in your style and in your own style, this week we want you to teach as many classes as you can, over 50% of them being taught by yourself. Okay, so what I mean by that is that each class that you teach, for it to count, you'll have to have taught over 50% of it by yourself. Okay, and that's to help get your style, get those things. And whoever wins this week's challenge will win one of the books. Okay, so just let us know by the next week. Also, just a reminder that this is the last month for Rank Advancement Club. So we end on the 31st of July. So make sure you rank this month, guys. You can do it. All very excited. There's been lots of rank advancements already. But those of you that are looking to get to Elite and looking to get to Premier and Silver, this is the month, guys. So we've got Immortelle to the 15th. We've got some great things going on. So work really hard, and we look forward to seeing a lot of you at the dinner on the 7th of August. So lovely chatting to everybody. It's being recorded, and we'll post it on Facebook later. So I'll end the recording now, and if you've got any questions,